Hey everybody, my name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. I wanted to thank you for listening to this episode of The Morning Show. I'm the creator, the producer, and the host of the show. We want you to check out our website. It's themorningshowwithnatalie.com. You can go to that website. You can see all about our sponsors, all about the show. You can even listen to live episodes while they're going on right there from the website. Another way to listen to the show live is go to Live 365. You can download that app and just search for The Morning Show. It's right there. Super easy. We want you to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you will. That way you can keep up with what's going on the morning show. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. My name is Natalie Duncan-Emmons. You are listening to The Morning Show. It's Featured Artist Friday. We've never been any more honored to have a group as our featured artist as we are this week with the Booth Brothers. And we just happen to have one of the original Booth Brothers here with us today, Mr. Michael Booth. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Ellie. Great to be with you, and I appreciate you having me on with these folks.
Look, we've been looking forward to this all week long. It's been the Booth Brothers all week here on the morning show. We just had a blast.
Woohoo! That's awesome.
Look, you can't have a bad week when you're featuring the Booth Brothers. It's impossible.
How sweet.
Well, the trio collectively and individually has been acknowledged as one of the finest in this business, having received many awards through the years, including Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, Trio of the Year, Male Group of the Year, and Best Live Performers, among others. And that's just collectively. You've all received awards individually more than we could even cover today. And we're here to talk about a brand new project that's just out today. Today's the first day that you can even get it. And we're going to do that. But there's a history here with the Booth Brothers that we can't cover in one show or one interview. But I did want to spend just a minute, Michael, and briefly reminisce maybe a little bit about the background of the Booth Brothers. And I think this is on my mind because we just had your brother, Ronnie, on the show, and he did a tribute for Mosey Lister. And then I've also just recently been talking to Nick Bruno, who was telling me stories about the Rebel Quartet. And so I'm just been flooded with memories of your dad and how it all got started. Does it go back to your dad? Is that where it all started?
It does. Back in Wayne, West Virginia, the original Booth Brothers were born. That would be Wallace, Jim, Charles, and Ronnie. And ultimately they moved to Detroit, Michigan, where they started singing together as teenage boys, if you will. And it was nothing really big. They just did a little bit. But the two younger brothers went on to be professional singers in gospel groups, Rebels Quartet being one of them. Dad also sang with J.D. Sumner and the Stamps, backing up Elvis. So there was a great deal of history. Ronnie and I growing up listening to these old things called records, these plastic things that have holes in the middle of them.
Look, some people listening don't even know.
I know, right?
And then you and Ronnie started singing with your dad. Was it 1989? Is that what I?
It was, yeah. So I left you hanging there a little bit. So after the original Booth Brothers, and then Dad and Uncle Charles went on to sing with various professional groups. They came off the road for a good while, and then in 1989, just to sing at our home church, Ronnie and Dad and I got up Easter Sunday morning and sang Bill Gaither's "Because He Lives." And we enjoyed that, and we thought, well, let's do some more. So we sang for a homecoming at the church we were going to. And the church was a real conservative Baptist church. So we sang the kind of music we thought would be appropriate for that audience. And then another church like that invited us, and then another. And the next thing you know, a Southern Gospel record company signed us. And then Bill Gaither took us on. And we just went down that path. But I'll say this. Our influences, though we grew up with our dad singing Southern gospel, Ronnie and I were heavily influenced by the 80s and 70s pop and country music of Restless Heart, the Oak Ridge Boys, Statler Brothers, even into Journey and some of these other 38 Special. So that is why now, though we're in the Southern Gospel genre, if you listen closely, you'll hear the influences of all those other genres. Yeah.
And that's what makes you different. You are classified as Southern Gospel music, but you have your, the sound is unique. The sound, is its own. It's not It's not the typical Southern gospel sound. Yeah.
It's just different. I really don't know how to categorize it other than, just a combination of influences. And we try to stay within our abilities and not prove what we cannot do. There's no
Yeah.
point in everybody knowing what you're incapable of doing.
That's good. Yeah. Well, I'll say this, since 1989, there have been changes. There have been challenges along the way. But
Yeah.
one thing about the Bruce brothers that is undeniable, despite the changes and the challenges, you've been consistent. That sound and that
Yeah.
harmony and the message, it's never wavered. And through it all, well, you've just never gone away. The Booth brothers are alive and well.
Well, you're very kind. And it was easy in a sense because for 32 of those years of the 33 or so that we've been singing, 32 of those years, my brother and I sang together. And so the third voice would come in and out. And there were only in 32 years, there were only 4 or 5 different other singers.
Mm-hmm.
And so it allowed us to have the real consistency. One guy was 3, Joseph Smith was 3 years, Jim Brady was 13 years, Paul Lancaster was 7, and then Jim Brady is back. And
Mm-hmm.
so in the last year, we had quite a bit of change where my brother decided after the COVID shutdown that he would like to stay home and no longer travel. So that was a big deal. I nearly almost shut it down because I didn't see how we could keep our sound and be the Booth brothers with one brother.
Yeah.
But we brought in a veteran, Buddy Mullins, who was formerly with the Gaither Vocal Band and his family group called the Mullins. And he knows how to bring in that harmony and blend. Different than my brother. You cannot replace that. But he did the job well. 6 months after that, Paul Lancaster, our third member, decided to come off the road because his wife had passed away, unfortunately, due to a battle with cancer. And so you can't argue with that. He just needed to go home. And to make a long story short, I told God, I'll do anything you want me to do, but I would prefer to either shut it down unless he provides Jim Brady to come back to the group. And that's exactly what God did.
Wow.
So we are going full steam ahead, having a ball. I don't think I've ever had more fun or been more fulfilled in my life than what we're doing now.
Wow. Well, the thing about the Booth brothers, or one thing about the Booth brothers, is that you do make it sound simple. When you and those guys sing together, especially Ronnie, because, Ronnie really was a staple figure. I mean, that voice of his was a dominant association with the group. And when you guys sang, it's not easy to do what you do, but you make it sound effortless when you do it. There's an art to that.
There really is. If you watch a football game and see a guy kick a football 30 yards into the field goal, it looks really easy till you walk out there and try to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's your job. That's the God's given the gift, and you hone your skills, and you want to make it look easy so that you're not a distraction to the message.
Today, I'm just curious. Was this the first project that you've recorded with the Booth brothers without your brother, Ronnie?
It is actually the second, but let me distinguish the two. When Buddy Mullins came into the group and then Jim Brady back, I needed some songs immediately because, as we mentioned in the past, when you take a member out and bring someone in, some things change. And we needed to showcase these guys within their own strengths. And I didn't want them coming in singing Ronnie's songs. They needed their own songs. So there's a few of the standards through the years we can keep doing, but they need to shine on their own. So we did an album for that, more for live purposes than anything. Now this one is all, the majority of it is brand new material, all but a couple. And so this is the one where we really get to spread our wings and try some stuff and show what this group is capable of doing.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, you do have a brand new album out today. Today is the day we want all of our listeners to go out. I'm assuming it's available wherever they download music, right? All the platforms.
Yeah, Stowtown Records, Provident Distribution. They'll have it anywhere and everywhere. And whatever CDs they sell CDs in stores anymore, however they'll be there. But most people just download them now.
Go to Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, even YouTube, wherever. The name of the album, the project is Speak Jesus. And true to Booth Brothers style, it's pretty spectacular. Um, there's a song on here that I wanted you to tell me where you got the song. We've been playing it on the show for several weeks now because I
Yeah.
think it's the first release. It is called Room Full of Stories.
Yeah.
I love this song.
Yes.
Where did you get this? It's fantastic.
Well, a little background, an interesting thing. When you got to back up a year or more, that when before Jim Brady was back in the group, I went to him, and he does some co-writing with a couple of guys, Tony Wood and Barry Weeks, that are just fantastic. And I knew he understood me and what this group is all about. So I went to Jim before he was back in the group, and we didn't know he was going to come back. I said, I need you to write some songs for me. So we had this big meeting, spent a day together, told him what I was looking for. Isn't it interesting that Jim ended up coming back to sing these songs that he wrote?
It's great.
One of them being Room Full of Stories. And I wanted a John Mayer type mid-tempo, peaceful but bright sounding message. And so musically, I kind of gave Jim an idea, and he came back with this message. Here's a great thing about the family of God. When we all get in a room, everybody has a story, many stories of what God has done for us, how he's brought us through, sustained us, provided for us. But also in that room, you're going to have a handful of people that are at the moment going through very difficult times. And one of the beautiful things about the family of God is those who are doing well can look at the one struggling and say, hang in there. What he did for me, he will do for you.
Mhm.
It's just this song is a beautiful depiction of the beauty of the family of God, set to ride on these peaceful, bright notes that really just put a smile on your face.
Well, we love it. We've been listening to it for several weeks. We play it almost every morning here on the show. I'm sure it's going to do really
Awesome.
well for the
Thank
Booth
you.
Brothers. It's fantastic. Let's play it right here on
Thank
the
you.
morning show. It's our featured artist of the week off of the brand new project. Here's Room, a song that we all know and we love. I Speak Jesus. I absolutely love it when
Yes.
artists do this. And one of the purposes and one of the goals of the morning show, our show, is to create a mix. We're predominantly Southern gospel. We love Southern gospel. It's who we are.
Mhm.
It's what we do. But we're also trying
Yeah.
to reach people who weren't necessarily raised on Southern gospel, or maybe that's not their
Yeah.
go-to. But we want them to
Yeah.
listen to it. We want them to be exposed to it. And sometimes you have to give them a little something that they're used to hearing, or you got to bait it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so they're used to listening to a different style. And I love it when an artist will reach across the aisle and take a hit from the contemporary side, or another genre, another style, and make it Southern gospel so that we can play it and that
Yeah.
people can tune in and go, oh, I know this one, and then they feel connected to the show because there's some
Exactly.
familiarity there. People love it. And I'm sure they love to be sitting in your concert and hear you sing it as well. Look, it's risky. It's risky to take a hit like this and to there's always a
Yeah.
risk with it, but you nailed it with this. What made you pick this song?
Buddy Mullins brought this to the table, and you understand, though Buddy sang with his family group and the Gaither Vocal Band many years ago, for the last 20 some years, he's been a worship leader in the church. He has gone through one of the most pivotal times within the church history of dealing with music, right? And so if anybody is qualified to walk this difficult path, it's definitely Buddy. And he brought this song to us. And here's why. That lyric is good for any genre in Christian music. That everybody can identify with that lyric. Musically, the way the melody flows, we can sing that, and we will sing it this week at the coming up at the National Quartet Convention, which is the diehard Southern gospel fans. But at the same time, this same song could be sung for Prestonwood, out in Dallas, or any contemporary church that is wearing cutoff jeans and t-shirts. And I love the way you summarize to reach across the aisle. That's what this song will do. And you know what it does? It proves that songs like this prove to us that we're closer than we're giving ourselves credit for. We're more united than we're giving ourselves credit for. And so hopefully in some small way, we can connect some people together and just look, at the end of the day, just speak Jesus, which means lift him up above the current situation.
Yeah. Well, he is our common ground. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, if for no other reason, everybody should go out and download this album today just to hear this song right here by the Booth Brothers, because it's just that special. We're encouraging everyone to go out and download it, or you can go to the website, I'm sure, and order it if you want the physical CD. But we just want you to do that today. It's really, really good. Thank you for spending some time with us here on the morning show.
My privilege. Let's do it again.
I'm going to hold you up to that. You got a friend here. Don't forget about that.
All right. Hey, seriously, you ever need anything, just tell Donna and we'll do it for you. Okay.
Good. I love that. We love the Booth Brothers. We'll have you back. Okay.
All right, friend. Thank you.
We're
Bye-bye.
going out with one more off this project. This is just a fun go-getter. Here's Let's Sing.